Hey guys, welcome to the podcast Couch Potato. So today we have with us Kairo Gulati, my esteemed friend, and my second esteemed friend Anindya Vedant. I don't know how to describe them well today. So if you guys could just say hi for our podcast. बहुत ही गंदा है लोग, बहुत ही गंदा स्टार्ट पॉडकास्ट को.
अच्छा
बट इट्स ओके, काम चला लेंगे हम. सो
काम ही चलाता है भाई.
हाँ, तो सबसे पहले अपना अपना इंट्रोडक्शन दे दें. सो एज यू नो, आई एम योर होस्ट मयंक आनंद एंड Anindya, your introduction.
So Mayank and I have been roommates for quite some time now, almost 4 years. The one thing that we bonded on specifically the most is our love for the geeky stuff, that is the comics, the movies, even games, whatever it is. We've been partnered in crimes and a lot of things. That's how we know each other, and that's how we actually bond.
Yeah, so about me, I have
Kairo,
known
let's
Mayank
not go to the roots of our friendship. Let's just
Yeah, of
keep that out of the
course.
podcast.
Of course. So I've known Mayank for four
leave out
years as well, and I have been like the third roommate in their room,
Yeah.
and one of the major reasons for bonding again was our area of interests always aligned with each other, be it comics or DC, Marvel, and that stuff.
Yeah, and anime too. I think all three of us are
Yeah,
into
of course,
animes,
anime too.
but Kairo the most, I think. Here. So yeah, talking about pop culture and geek stuff. Today's podcast, guys, is about the phenomenon called DC fandom, which happened very recently on 22nd, 23rd August. We got to see a lot of trailers. We got to see a lot of new concepts that DC is coming up with. Like it's not copying any other franchise, and it's going its own way. So I think they're going to have a universe, but also they're going with individual, installments of characters like Batman, and then Black Adam's coming in. There is going to be Shazam 2, Aquaman 2, Wonder Woman 84 is already, we already know that it's coming out. So there's a lot happening at DC. So as DC fans, like I would like to tell you guys, Anindya and Kairo are huge DC fans, and I am a Marvel fan. But I've decided to start with DC today because, again, DC fandom, I think, deserves that credit. So yeah, Anindya and Kairo, I would like to have your take on this, like DC fandom and stuff like that.
Yeah. First of all, DC fandom is one of the things that helped us DC fans thoroughly, because this is something that we needed. Time and again we saw Marvel movies come out and kick DC's asses, very efficiently, if I must say.
I think
the whole setup.
DC fandom was sort of an ego satisfaction for DC fans, like ego satisfied हो गए finally कि यार अब हमारे पास भी कुछ है show off करने को.
Exactly, because if you see past 7, 8, 10 years, we have had great individual movies, but the time difference between these great individual movies was way too much and consisted of smaller projects that were not much successful, that DC could never get into that flow of having hits.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's true.
So, yeah, ever since, like, if we have to take Marvel's entire setup as an example, right from 2008 we got Iron Man 1, and then they set it up so beautifully and so well managed. It was so well managed that it actually pleases you, that you are a fan of such a big thing, and they're putting in so much of efforts for something like this. So yeah, so finally we've come to see those efforts from DC, and thank you DC so much, first of all, for that. And I have the schedule here open with me. So everything, they had this super villains panel. They have the
if you could share the screen, I
Quinn.
have allowed that. Share the screen and just show our
sure.
people.
Yeah,
what
sure.
all they did, a crisp of that.
Yeah, so they had this League of One, the Dwayne um, McDuffie story, the supervillains panel, the Harley Quinn panel. So everything they started from the very basic Dwayne McDuffie story, and they screened it. They went on and they set it up with the supervillains, because even now, even though the DC movies are gaining their their fame, but super villains are actually kind of in the hindsight, because they are not so focused on anymore. Zoom, the Black Racer, everything.
Yeah,
A lot of people are not exactly don't exactly talk about them.
yeah.
So yeah,
And
this
even for
panel was
that
really
matter,
hated.
these are still villains that are lesser known. Even the more known villains in DC are not being that focused on. For example, yes, we got a very good Joker movie, but on the other hand, we have had nothing for Lex Luthor.
Same, yeah,
I
yeah,
think,
exactly. See, Lex Luthor, yeah,
yeah. So I think when it comes to villains, it's not just DC. Usually, what happens is people tend to, idolize heroes, right, more than villains. They don't understand the psychology behind villainy. Actually, I find villainy more deep because, a deeper concept, because villains always have a motto, right? But superheroes just have one motto: to stop the supervillains. So superheroes aren't really doing anything other than stopping the villains. But villains have a reason behind all of their actions, right? Each and every
Exactly.
villain has a different reason, has a
exactly,
personal reason, or
Has
it may or may
has
not
a
be
unique
personal.
reason. Yeah, something
exactly.
in the past that someone in the past that wronged him,
Triggered
the
it,
system wronged him,
exactly.
whereas the superheroes are just there to we are here to protect
You
everyone.
know, they
Yeah.
just do
So
good. So yeah, and, yeah,
I
yeah.
think,
So I just want to say, yeah.
sure, sure, sure. Go
Hmm.
ahead.
Go ahead.
You
I was saying,
complete your thing. Yeah.
personally, yeah, personally, I feel that their whole reasoning behind the villainy, DC has done quite a justice to them,
Mm.
considering whether it be a formidable force such as a Joker, whose ideology is on the next level altogether,
Mm.
or someone as small as a doctor. I don't know. Take anybody, basically. So, for me, DC's villains are, feat of achievement in themselves.
But
So
I'm
yeah,
sure you're
that's one
talking
thing.
about the comics or the animated universe, because the live action movies
Yeah,
are
exactly.
not even
Not
close yet. I mean, I don't
I
know what
mean,
they do with Black Adam. I
exactly.
have really high hopes from Black Adam though.
I think when it comes to
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
live action movies, DC tried. We should give them the applause for trial. So yeah, talking about live action movies of DC, I think they were
Yeah,
lacking somewhere or the other when it comes to gaining the peak interest of public, but also not forgetting the fact that they tried making good movies. Like back in 2009, David Ayer directed the film Watchmen. I think beautiful movie.
yeah, yeah.
I've read the graphic novel and I've seen the movie. I would just like
Mhm.
to applaud the similarity between the two. Like each and every scene was replicated. What David Ayer
Yeah,
went to do with the movie was he wanted,
justice.
yeah, I mean, he didn't want to put his innovations because he didn't want to put his innovations in, because I think the graphic novel in itself was so great, like so well written. Okay, the character plots and the plot as a whole. Okay, both of them were so well written that David Ayer chose not to, edit anything out of the novel and put it as it is in a movie, so that people who are not so interested in reading novels and who cannot invest that time also get to experience the beauty of that graphic novel. So I think that's what David Ayer did. Then came Man of Steel, right? What is your take on Man of Steel? Can I know? Because I think I thought the movie was great, but I haven't read a lot of DC comics. I don't know what the exact character portrayal of Superman in the comics. So how is it different, and how is it not as good as the comics, or how is it better than the comics? Like
Okay,
whatever your
I
take.
have an opinion.
Yeah, Kayo, go ahead.
So, if you remember that scene where to save a bunch of people, he kills Zod. He snaps his neck,
Yes,
right?
towards the end, yes, in the museum, I
Yeah.
remember.
So, they could have given that scene a very different way of showing that, because when they made Superman kill a person, even though it was a Kryptonian, but the fact stays that he killed, right?
Hmm.
And throughout the comic, throughout the animated series,
Hmm.
Superman has been called multiple times, has been called the Boy Scout of the Justice League, right?
Okay.
He does
Yeah, yeah,
everything
yeah.
right. He gi- giving him, like making him kill someone was like taking away his nobility from him, if you know what I mean.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
they could have
Mm.
ended Zod in a different note, but I feel they should not have made Superman kill him.
Interesting point. Yeah, really interesting point. See, the thing is, DC live action, DC in general has been associated with dark and gritty appearance.
Hmm.
So
Yeah, that's true.
everything, i- yeah. So you kind of have that image that Marvel is jolly and DC is dark. I, not
I
not
think
something.
I think what has happened is because of the parent company of Marvel right now,
Hmm.
uh, the perception towards Marvel has become very cloudy. Because I mean, people think that Marvel is all jolly and DC is all gritty, but DC also has its jolly moments, and Marvel
His,
also has its gritty
Okay,
moments. So
Shazam,
it goes
exactly.
both ways
Shazam,
actually. Yep.
Flash, Shazam,
Shazam,
Flash.
Flash.
Shazam, Flash, and Deadpool in Marvel. Like, I don't need to say it further. Deadpool in Marvel and Wolverine, I think. So these two characters are people. Even Punisher. These three characters, I think, don't hold back when it comes to splashing blood here and there and brains. Okay. So I think this perception of DC being gritty and Marvel being jolly, this isn't something that goes for the three of us, right? Because we have been closely
Yeah,
related
yeah.
to the
It's like,
comics and
Yeah.
stuff
yeah,
like that.
it's not like we are going by these conventional. But see, what I was trying to say is,
Yeah, the
they
general
have been,
perception, I
and
get
this,
it.
Yeah.
yeah, the general perception, and they kind of worked on these lines when they made a lot of the live action movies,
Hmm.
and this is something that they did with Superman as well. So
Okay,
Zack Snyder is a really great director. Hats off,
that's true.
and
I think he
no,
can
no
be the Kevin
problem there.
Feige of fandom,
Yeah. He can be.
the whole event that is going
Yeah,
on. He can be there
Yeah.
because I think in his true sense he's a visionary. Okay, and he can
yeah,
even do better than Feige if he's given that creative freedom. Because
Freedom.
yeah.
the things that he's done for DC, I don't think any director has as such done it.
Done
Because
it. I
we'll talk
agree.
about
I
Justice League
agree.
later. So Anindya, you can go ahead.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it for sure.
Yeah. So the general, if you see the original perception of Superman is he's the one who is always jolly. He's the one who is always optimistic, and
Symbol of
he
hope.
does yeah, symbol of hope, everything. The car, the House of L, and everything. So he's supposed to be the good one.
Yeah.
So Zack Snyder took that character and put it into a very different mold altogether. He made
Okay.
him dark, brooding, and even at the point, he made him even kill. See,
That's true.
yeah. So keeping him in a different mold altogether affects a lot of things. I'm choosing my words very carefully. Affects the in perception in a lot of ways. Some people might hate it. Some people might like this new
Might
spin on it.
like it. Yeah.
Yeah. So if we have to take an example, a Batman who laughs, the latest version. It's another
Oh
mold.
damn.
It's like they took a character and put it into a different mold altogether. Not
That was
altogether,
like
maybe simple.
that was such a controversial take on both Joker and Batman. Like,
Batman.
I
Exactly.
mean,
Yeah.
I've seen Joker do drastic stuff, but I read about Batman Who Laughs and DC Metal and stuff like that. Everything that was happening, White Knight and all that. So all the interconnected events that were happening and Batman Who Laughs. So I think what they wanted to show is the brilliance of Joker and Batman together, but the controversy that it created, that fans did not want to meddle with Joker and Batman as separate entities,
But
and that is what the writers did exactly. They like heavily meddled with both of the characters to bring them and amalgamate them into one. So I think that
Yeah,
is what created the controversy there.
because I think fans as such are used to seeing Batman the way Batman is.
Yeah, and Joker the
exactly.
way Joker is, not in a
The way
Bat's
Joker.
Exactly.
costume and portraying the brilliance of Batman through his madness and stuff like that. I don't think
Yeah.
fans. I don't think to please fans, writers need to go to that extent, because fans are already happy with the takes of what Joker and what Batman are. They just want new
Yeah.
stories coming out, right? So
Yeah.
because I
Yeah,
think
they don't want
yeah. So
they
Basically,
don't want
I
the
feel
base of
I
the
feel
character to be fiddled with.
yeah.
exactly fans
Mm.
want the same Batman, the same Joker, but new stuff happening in their lives.
Ah,
Yeah.
exactly.
So
New stuff.
I think the same thing, if we talk about Marvel, the same thing happened when Daredevil killed for the first time. Okay. So basically, Daredevil was brainwashed by the Hand and stuff like that. So he was a villain too in between. And he also gave up his Catholicism, and he told that if it comes to killing, I'd kill. Okay. So the first time this happened in comics, it was so controversial because the writer what the writer did there was all the credibility that the
Character had.
origins of the character had. Okay, he just tried to throw all that away. But I applauded that take on Daredevil because the explanation of those events, the reasoning behind his killings, everything was justified, right? Things,
Yeah,
uh, even Zack Snyder, I think what he did with Superman in the end was what he tried to show
justified.
was अगर दो
Value of
aliens लड़ रहे हैं
lives.
हाँ I mean
हाँ.
अगर दो aliens लड़ रहे हैं Superman really did not have a choice. Okay, he did not have a choice. He
See, the
either
thing is,
had to let
if
all those people get killed, okay, which was against Superman indirectly killing them, okay, because he was letting Zod live, and the other thing was to kill Zod. The other choice was to kill Zod.
see,
So
see, it was. Let me tell you how I thought it. It was the portrait. So, and on one side it's Zod, his last living relative.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
the only last living Kryptonian. We'll forget Kara for a minute. The
And Super
last
Dog.
relative yeah, exactly. The last living Kryptonians that he knows of.
that he knows of
So
this.
he has him by his and he has him by his throat, and that guy is meant is hell bent on killing like destroying the world that he's currently on,
Yeah,
where his
because
love
he
of life
wanted
is.
Krypton to live again. So that was his
Exactly.
motto behind
So
this.
yeah. So see, at his own position, Sword is correct. At his own
Yeah,
position, Superman is correct. But
exactly.
who is? It's not about who's right or wrong. It's about what weighs more in the eyes of the one stands atop. Who stands
That's
atop.
true.
Right now, Superman has the upper hand with everything, because the whole explanation about how our sun is more nutritious and everything.
Yeah,
That very well explained.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So
so that's
Superman
what I
has
was saying. When it comes to Zack Snyder, choosing to make Superman the killer in the movie per se, um, sometimes people have to take that, those,
exactly.
I'd say,
Basically,
Yeah,
it
that's
was it
some.
was taking a
desperate
very.
measures.
It was as we know that we've seen, we consider if Superman represents the sun, the light. Then Batman represents the dark,
The
the night.
dark, the night.
And
That's true.
it was when they showed Superman killing Zod. It was more like telling that once in a even
Yeah,
Superman, the sunset.
can do. Uh,
Yeah.
exactly, can do stuff if it's really necessary. You
Yeah,
see, if it's the cost of somebody else, he'll stop bad no matter what the cost is.
Mm.
Zod killing people is bad, so he'll stop bad at no matter what the cost is, even if
So
it's
I
his
think
own family.
what happened was, yes, Zack did meddle with Superman a little, but overall the character portrayal of him, Martha being his mother, his dad dying, and him learning a lot of superheroic, notions from both his earthly dad and his Krypton dad
Mm.
throughout the movie. Him going to the
Mm.
ship and discovering all of his origins. So all of that, I think Zach got right, because when you see the movie as a Superman fan, obviously you're disappointed at the end a little. But other than that, I think Zach tried his best to portray the whole scenario well, right?
yeah,
He tried his best, because
Yep.
when it comes to Superman, it can be very complicated. You can either show off his powers or
Yeah.
just dive down into his character. It's
Exactly.
gonna be one of the two. If we go back to the
Exactly.
Christopher Reeves Superman, the powers were
mm,
more
Yeah.
concentrated upon. His childhood
Yeah.
being shown, like when he was found, they showed him, picking up that car. Okay, that's where it started from. Then his super speed when he runs with the train. When he races with the train. So I think Christopher Reeve Superman was more about discovering his powers, and Zack Snyder tried to go towards the character development side more.
yeah,
So I think that is commendable,
Yeah.
because as a director, you got to take that brave decision, right, of changing stuff and seeing if it
Exactly.
works out. So
Exactly. Exactly.
that's
Yep.
about Superman.